Good evening. Welcome to Sound Health on Lagos Television. I am Oluwasesan Modupe. We bring you Sound Health every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. and we try to enlighten members of the public on trending health issues from around the world. Today we are looking at an issue that affects everybody, but it affects children and adolescents the more. According to the World Health Organization, over 800,000 deaths are recorded yearly as a result of air pollution. This is our focus today. Stay tuned. The conversation begins after this break.
Some threats aren't obvious. In our homes, our communities, our cities, they're always among us, often unseen, hiding in plain sight. Non-communicable diseases like cardiovascular diseases, certain types of diabetes, cancer, chronic respiratory disease can affect us quietly. And every year, they take millions of lives. Most often, they are influenced by the world around us, factors outside our control. But the power to prevent and manage them is in our hands. Change isn't only possible, it's already within our reach. By addressing the underlying health and risk factors, by meaningfully including people living with non-communicable diseases into decision-making, understanding how environments and policies put us at risk, by supporting bold, inclusive, non-communicable disease policies like high taxes on cigarettes and other unhealthy products, decreasing the salt and fat content in our food, and ensuring access to essential medicines, we can build healthier futures for everyone.
The program is still Sound Health on Lagos Television. Joining us via Zoom this evening is Dr. Oluwasesan Joshua, and he is going to tell us what exactly is air pollution, how it affects children, and how to reduce it. Dr. Oluwasesan Joshua is an atmospheric pollution expert, and he is going to tell us what we need to know about this topic. Good evening, Dr. Joshua, and thanks for joining us.
Good evening, viewers.
1 in 3 deaths are linked to respiratory infection as a result of air pollution. This is always experienced by children under 5-year-old. What exactly is this condition and why are we seeing more of that in children?
Thank you. I want to go into that definition of air pollution. All you know that is the contamination of ambient air. The ambient air is operating here that we breathe in, and then by making it to be harmful to the people is a problem from the different sources. We are going to look at indoor and outdoor. So by defining the indoor air pollution, that is a major problem to our children because according to UNICEF, we discovered that about 70% of this mortality linked to the household pollution. So also we are going to look at outdoor. But firstly, let's look at it from the pregnancy period. According to the European researchers, they discovered that most of the babies in the mothers, they been affected through this problem. So the studies covers about 12 countries with the 74,000 mothers were involved in these studies, and they discovered that as low as these particulate matters, because that's the major pollutant that we are looking at, is as low as 20 million microgram per cubic meter, it's cut across that babies and then they infected the babies in that. And then they discovered that at the point of delivery, the mothers delivered low-weighted baby. From there, if you look at it, that pregnancy is very key. So the mothers must be able to take care of pregnancy period, and then from there, getting to this world, you have to look at it that our environment is being polluted. According to the UNICEF, it's discovered that 99% of the air we breathe in has been polluted. And then looking at that, you see that particulate matters, we have two types of particulate matters being recognized by WHO, that's World Health Organization, that we have one PM 2.5, that one is respirable. The second one is PM10, that inhalable.
All right.
In this PM 2.5, okay.
Okay, please go ahead, Dr. Joshua.
Yes. In this PM 2.5, it contains chemical profiles. This chemical profiles goes into the lungs of babies between 1 to 6 years. And so if the babies, the children, if they are not being taken care of, giving them immunization and putting them in the area that we cover them that's away from this pollution, it will affect their lungs by the reaction with their lungs that will form the bacteria, viral and fungal diseases. So through that, we see some of the children suffering of pneumonia, leukemia, respiratory problem, and some other things that really related to.
Okay. All right. Many people will still wonder, how does this relate to our health? How does air quality affect our health?
Okay. So, I mentioned earlier on that we have two types. We have indoor and outdoor. Outdoor, some people use kerosene to cook. Some use wood to cook. Some sawdust. So based on this act, we are one way or the other, we polluted the air because this particular matter, dust, inhaling dust. If you are along the road or inside the house, if you are cooking and you don't use a cleaner fuel like LPG, definitely LPG too has its own, but it's minimal. So if you are, that's the reason why our kitchen must be ventilated, and then we use cleaner gas. So that will be dust and gases we are breathing in. In Nigeria and some other Asian countries, Africa, we don't have that kind of mechanism, the technology to monitor our atmosphere, our air quality. So that's the reason why we are really suffering. If you look at the statistical analysis, you will see that African and Asian countries are really suffering of this kind of diseases among the children. So because we don't know, we need awareness to tell people, especially the schools and the households, to do the awareness. So if you see you want to cook, use this, use that. It's because of, if you look at the expenses that go to hospital, buy drugs, and compare with using the LPG, you see that the difference is clear. That it's better to prevent than to have problems, illness and other diseases. Okay. So that's the reason why that if to layman use cleaner energy in order to avoid this time. In our houses, some people they use paint that they just produce locally. In that paint, lead is there, but you don't know the concentration of the lead that is there. So if it something passes through the registered paint manufacturer, you will see that all those things will be minimal. But we just put everything, including POP. Today, POP is common that, I want to use POP, I want to use POP. They use locally one. And once the dust, that PM 2.5 enter the house, the time you are cleaning the house, you are putting it down. There's something not ordinarily that talking about the illness, it affects the children's IQ, that's intelligent quotient. So the lead is the one that affects and is in this PM 2.5, because it's one of the chemical profiles that are present in the PM 2.5, that dust that people are inhaling. It's respirable. The children, they will inhale it. The adults will inhale it. But the children, the reason why the children is more important, that they breathe rapidly more than the adults, because they need it to develop their organs and their brains.
Okay, Dr. Joshua, let us look at other domestic factors now. I'm glad you mentioned the use of energy, some other trendy, fashionable items at home, building materials at home. When you get to some people's household, you realize that fragrances and some other chemicals like candles, scented candles, are these also potential risk factors?
Yes, sure, their potential, because the mother that having a baby of maybe age below 6 and using fragrance that the perfume that's very harsh, and no, it should be excluded from using all those kind of. And then in our bedroom, don't use freshener. Don't put freshener in your bedroom. The freshener should be in the toilet or living room, where everywhere is open, and you don't stay long there, because these chemicals they are using to produce now, they are synthetic chemicals. You don't know the content. That's the aspect of our study now that we are carrying out. We want to know, because this cancer, or blood cancer, all those things are all over, but we are looking at how we can get the root of this problem. So it's ongoing research now that everybody will know about it.
All right, Dr. Joshua, it is clear that we are guilty of most of these things, because we use insecticide at free will just to, scare away mosquitoes and other insects, but we are actually putting health at risk. Okay, let us know the long-term and the short-term effects on not just children as well as adults.
Yeah. If you look at, we have different type of immune system. There are some that once you see something, it reacts rapidly. You understand? Some we put it and resist it. So in terms of that, but for infantry, infants between 1 to 6 is not advisable. If you use insecticide or something, allow it at least minimum of 5 hours to bring that infant into that area, and open the window, make sure that everything. This is a cumulative impact. If you use it today, you use it tomorrow, consecutively, it will really affect. In terms of lead issue that I just mentioned is a neurological developmental problem. So if the child continue in that lead environment, putting it on, you discover that the child will not be able to perform in school, and then you see very sluggish. You see all those kind of things, because the study being carried out in America shows that the lead in the blood, they took blood from this, and they compare it with their performance. You discover that it's directly proportional to the performance of these children in their schools. So we have to be very, very careful about that. So, and then by doing that, lead, if it's not a consecutive action, within 35 days, the lead will go out through the feces. So that's all. But if it's accumulated one, it can be permanent if care is not taken.
Okay, how do we mitigate this?
First thing, so if you are looking at household, use cleaner fuel, LPG, and then make sure that you avoid using deodorant that is very harsh when you have less than 6 years baby. And then also, don't put freshener in your bedroom. Let it be your toilet, and then also, if you look at outdoor, because we are just dwelling more on also the in pollution. But if you look at the outdoor, you see our schools along the road. We know that the traffic-related pollutants really cause childhood leukemia. And our schools too must be able to have something to determine the level of their air pollution within the environment and to put necessary things in place. So with that, I think we'll be able, and then the policy. Also, I want to mention this thing because we have open burning policy in Nigeria. We should activate it. Some people in our environment, they will quickly burn anything. Burn. It's not good. It's affecting our blood. Now we have to look at it. That act of burning something we should, and then government should put whistleblower because it's killing the children. So once you discover that, and then they make arrest of maybe 2-3 people, we are going to adjust. So we need to keep our environment and make sure that our children are in a safe place to avoid this kind of diseases.
All right, Dr. Joshua, according to a recent report, about 2.5 million persons worldwide have developed lung cancer as a result of air pollution. How do we start taking urgent action?
Okay, thank you. Actually, like if you look at the reports, you discover that Asia and Africa continents, they are really affected in that report because of our mentality concerning the air pollution. Air pollution is difficult to measure because the major thing you must determine the impact, the source of the problem. But in Nigeria now, air pollution measurement is not really popular. So we have one thing, but based on the studies being carried out in Nigeria, the first thing, like I mentioned earlier, that indoor, we have to take care of our household first. At least we can protect the one outside there by not going out. But in our household, we need to protect ourselves. For layman, let's look at from our kitchen. Let's start from using cleaner fuel. From there, let's just move away from using any other materials for building. Especially if we want to renovate house, getting the mixed paint along the road, along the side. We should desist from that kind of acts, especially for people that are having children below 6 years. So we have to make sure that we stay away from all these kind of mixtures that are not approved by NAFDAC or SON. Also, from outdoor, there are schools, because the children, they stay more in school than home, if you look at it during the session. So the schools must look inward and see how they can improve their well-being of these children, especially those people along the highway. But looking at the leukemia, because leukemia is if you look at the benzene, the fuel, the volcanic, volatile organic compound, you will see that traces is there and is affecting the children. You mentioned that we are talking about mortality. We are not talking about morbidity, the diseases and other things in terms of neurological effects. Some people are not dead, they are not dead, but they are just working. They are not useful because their brain is already been infected. So all those kind of things, we have to look at it from the schools and then from home now in little way. At least getting good cleaner fuel to cook, make sure that your kitchen is well ventilated, and then the bacteria that are not approved by SON, don't use it for inner room. And then disease from using freshener in your bedroom. Don't use freshener in your clothes. And then if you have a little child, don't use deodorant that perfume that will be very harsh. So with that one, at least little bit, we'll be able to reduce cancer in our society.
All right, reduce the use of air fresheners and other hazardous products as well as a material in your household. Kill air pollution before it kills you. Dr. Oluwasesan Joshua, atmospheric pollution expert, thank you so much on your expertise on how to reduce air pollution.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right, thank you so much for sharing your expertise on how to reduce air pollution, the impact of air pollution on our health, especially children's health.
Yeah.
Sound Health continues with trending health report from around the world. Please stay tuned. The program is still Sound Health on Lagos Television. I hope you've learned one or two things about air pollution, how to stop air pollution and its impact on our health. You need to drop that lifestyle if it costs you your health. For comments and inquiries, or you have topics you'd like us to treat, please send SMS to 0035826603 or follow us on social media at Lagos Television #Sound Health. A sound health is a sound mind. Make healthy living your choice.